We are talking today, see people coming in. I hope everybody is having a great Monday. Hope you had a great weekend. Thank you for coming in. And today we are talking about a farming in an area, to farm a market. Which market do you buy? You know, there's so many markets out there, and what do you go do? Do I go out of town? Do I buy my next door neighborhood, my next door house? So, you know, with a different variation we have to look at. For example, you don't want to be more than 30 minutes from your home, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes. You want to be very close to home. If you have to be out of state, if you're going out of state and you want to buy something out of state, then it's got to be near major airport. 20 minutes, 25 minutes near major airport. Therefore, you can be there right away, you can get to the property without any issues. So this is extremely important. Number one, today we're talking about farming in an area, location to buy real estate. So you want to be 15 minutes, 30 minutes to 45 minutes close to your home, or some 20, 25 minutes, 30 minutes close to a major airport if you have to buy out of state, right? So what do you look for when you want to farm an area? What do you look for, right? You don't want to see a declining area. As an example, suppose you look in areas, any town, particular town, doesn't matter the name, and you see like dead shopping centers. You see like abandoned building. You see like a property with a really not kept well. And you know, there's not too much pride of ownership. However, if the same thing you're looking at and you see new development coming in the area, that's okay. You want to be the ugliest property in the area. Therefore, you can make it look pretty, and there's your value add. You don't want to go to a place where people are moving out, and that really that's where the difference between blue states and red state. Because blue state is for one thing, blue state, you have very, very favorable laws for the tenant. So, is that bad? We don't like a tenant? What's wrong with having good laws that's favoring the tenant and not favoring the landlord? It's simple. You want to get your rent? Or do you want to take 6 months to 8 months for eviction? I don't. So when it comes to blue state, the eviction process is extremely difficult. I've had some horror story, where people sometimes left 6 months, 8 months, 12 months even. Yeah, it's very difficult to evict them. Every time they come with a new story, every single time they go to court. So that's one thing about blue state. Number two, which is really, really the key. At the end of the day, we buy in a multifamily. Why are we buying multifamily? For the rent to go up. We want to buy something that we are able to push the rent to the max. Let's say doing new kitchens, new flooring, new bathrooms. So you want to be able to push the rent. Guess what? Some blue states, you're very limited to how much you can push the rent. 2%, 3% a year, that's it. That's pretty bad, because you're not buying a property to stay still. You want rent to go up. And unfortunately, the laws over there in the blue states are much more difficult. And I'm talking to my colleague, and you know what? They tell me I'm not doing renovation. I'm not fixing kitchens. I'm giving my tenant the standard living, so they can have, they have to be able to live in comfortable living, but I'm not giving anything new. I'm not giving new appliances, I'm not giving new flooring, I'm just going to use the old kitchens, because guess what? My rent is not going up. Why should I do that? Excuse me. An example, New York City, New York State for that matter, New York City, California, extremely difficult when it comes to raising rent. And basically, you work for free. Do you want to work for free? Not me. For those of you who just joined us right now, we are talking about different location? How do you farm an area? How do you farm a market? And it's extremely important to understand your market before you execute, before you buy a property. Because once you buy the property, is bye-bye. There's no more seller, there are no brokers, you're on your own. So I certainly encourage you guys to do your homework. The red state. What's so good about red state? So we know the blue states eviction issue can take you months at a time, months to remove a tenant. Number two, you're not encouraged to raise rent in the blue state because excuse me, you're not encouraged to fix the unit or to give new kitchen, new cabinets, new flooring because your rent is not going up. If my rent is not going up, why should I fix the unit? Oh. Excuse me, I don't know. Sorry. I apologize. So red state, for example, are much more favorable to tenant. Red state, you're able to raise rent. Ask me how much you can raise rent. How much rent can you guys raise rent in red state? Anybody knows? Anybody coming in here? Anybody knows how much money can I get when it comes to red state? Unlimited. If I think I can get $2,000 in the market for excuse me. Telling my voice, I don't know my voice today. If my rent right now is $1,000 or $1,100, $1,200, and the next door neighbor is another $500, I can certainly get another $500 because that's what you do. You do your comps. It's very, very important to do the comps before you buy a property. It's always has to do with the rent going up according to the market condition, what the market can bear. And how do you do that? By rent comps. It's so easy. Listen, you see a property, you see 50 units, and let's say the average rent there is $1,000. And everywhere else is $1,300, $1,400. That's all you have to see. That's all. You're done. You know you can get more money. Now be careful. It's extremely important to compare apple with apple. Don't compare a 70 Vantage with a brand new product. So it's got to be the same year build, right? The same vintage. So therefore, you know you can raise the rent. And by the way, you are in a place where the laws are very much favorable to the landlord. What does it mean favorable to a landlord and not very inviting for a tenant? Does that mean that as a landlord in red state, we are mean to our tenant and we don't attend to them? Or we don't take care of them? Absolutely not. It means you're making my job easier in the red state to accommodate the tenant, to give the tenant better condition, to give the tenant new kitchen, new bathroom cabinets, new flooring. You're helping me out so I can help the tenant, as opposed to blue state where no matter what I do to the unit, I'm restricted to how much I can raise the rent. So that's really, really the key when it comes to blue against red state. Not to mention that a lot of the blue states, you're gonna see that people are moving out. Why would you want to buy in a decline area? Do you want to make money? You want to make money. So you're not gonna buy in the decline area. You're only gonna buy in the area that's going up. Staying the same, but not showing a decline in population. Excuse me. Let's repeat. What are the key element, okay, before you execute? Farm an area, learn the comps. Very, very important to study the comps for the rent roll. Because if the rent's showing, if you're buying a property and your average rent is say $1,500 and the rent comps are $1,000, guess what? You are going to lose money because when that lease expires, they're not going to renew at that rate. They're going to go next door and pay less rent. So you always want to make sure that there is meat in the bone for the rent to go up. That's extremely, extremely important. You want to make sure there is enough money in the bone, enough money that you can enough meat in the bone. Meaning, if my rent reaches already to the max and I cannot raise the rent, what am I doing? Why am I buying this property? So we're not going to buy the property if the rent is already reached to max, unless you tell me it's a brand new product, and you are going to make about 8 to 9% every single year, because you can do more because the rent is already high. And a brand new product, I don't mind you making under 10% because it's a brand new product. But most of the product we're talking about, most cases it's 70 and 80 product. I would say mostly 70s. 70 product, you want to make about mid 20% return. So we talked about red state, we talked about blue states, we talked about rent camps. The rent camps going to determine whether you're making a good deal or a bad deal. Here's a question. So let's say the rent camps is not good, and let's say the rent camps are reached to the max, and now you cannot raise the rent. So so I'm not going to buy the property? You can still buy the property. Guess what? Because you did your homework now you see that the rents are reached the limit. Now you can go to the seller or to the broker, say, Mr. Seller, Mr. Broker, I did my homework, I cannot raise the rent, therefore I'm renegotiating the price. I cannot give you this price anymore. Now my price is going to be lower. So it's very, very important. The key in buying a multifamily, not just the price, it's what I can do with the rent. Because at the end of the day, it's always a function of rent. If rent does not go up, then you're not able to make money, you're not going to be in the money. And that's not what we want to do. We want to make sure that rent is continuing to go up every single year. And that's what you want to buy in red state. Red state is very, very important. Now, what are the key location that drives? What are the key? For example, what is the employment area? Employment, universities, shopping center, attractions. Heck, I love to be in an area where we can walk to shopping center, walk to transportation. Can you imagine being in an area where you have to drive about 15 minutes for a shopping center? Not good. Why is it important? Because those things are they're going to make a difference whether you're able to raise the rent, and basically at the end of the day you want to see tenants, brand new tenants coming into you every single day. Why do I need tenant if I'm already 100% occupied? Number one, if you're 100% occupied, your rent is too low. Number two, always have a waiting list of new tenants that want looking to change, looking to make a move. When I have a waiting list of tenant. So that's very important where you look at it. I love the idea if you find a property and it's got an exposure on the main road. I love them because the exposure on the main road, free advertisement. How about that? Free advertisement. Anybody see your building? How great is that? So those are the key location element that drive a property to whether to be successful or not. Shopping center important. The job, major employees. What kind of employee they have there? What are they? Are they corporate employees? Imagine you have Amazon nearby. How beautiful is that? Schools, what kind of schools they have there, right? Very, very important. And that's what we're looking at. At the end of the day, why people are going to come to my property, right? And what bring people to the location, to the city, to the neighborhood, for that matter? Excuse me. Great employers. People have their employers. Job opportunity, job growth, right? Shopping, tremendous shopping, major shopping. It's so important to have shopping because I find that people, I don't want to say lazy, but they love the idea to walk around downstairs and just walk to shopping, walk to Starbucks. I mean, it's tremendous. Sometimes you don't really have it, but that's okay. You can drive a couple 1 mile, 2 miles, and that's okay too. And then you have the university campus. You know, what people, the educator, the employers, the professor, the teachers, they need a place to live. You want to see that. You want to know, make sure there are this kind of stuff nearby. Shopping center, universities, major employers. Those are the key elements, okay? What are the attraction? Movie theater, entertainment. Anything that draws people to live in that neighborhood. The next thing is, we want to find out about tourist versus residential area, excuse me. Do we want to buy in a city where there's more tourists or more residential? The answer is very simple. Are you buying a hotel? If you buy in a hotel, yeah, you want to have more tourists. We don't, by the way, this channel, we don't talk about hotel. This is strictly multifamily because I want you guys to make money. Hotel is a business, nursing home is a business, assisted living facility is a business. We're not buying a business, we're buying a multifamily. We're buying a situation where you can go home and you can relax, you can collect check every single month without being there necessarily 9 to 5 every single day. Excuse me. So it's extremely important to be in a residential area, not a tourist area, because this is not a multifamily. It's not you don't rent by the month or by the day. You rent by minimum lease, 9 months lease to 12 months lease, and you want to make sure that people are there. There is people that live in there. There is employment. There is other stuff we talked about that drive the area. And in the tourist location, we have tourists. It's beautiful, a lot of people, but it doesn't really help me for my property to get a tenant. So that's not going to be good. We need to be in a residential area at all time. Anybody wants to come in? If you have any question, yeah. Forgive me, I think I have a little cold. No, over the weekend I don't know what happened here. So now we're talking about crime. Gee, are you going to buy a property and you're not going to check about crime? You don't care whether, maybe there was crime in the area. So number one thing you want to do, if there is a property, if the property has a name, the easiest thing to do, Google the name. Google the name of the property and you're going to find out whether the property has got crime or not. History, right? Yes, anything that was crime last month, 6 months ago, a year ago, shooting, very, very important. Also, what you want to do, you want to go at night. I don't go just at night time. I go after 2 a.m. I want to make sure there are no business taken care of, if you know what I mean. 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning. Definitely during daytime, nighttime. And by the way, I love to drive a property during the daytime and to see that there are no cars in the community. Does that mean the property is vacant? No. People have job. That's what it means. I love the idea there are no cars. People are working 9 to 5. Why do we want people to work? So they can pay the rent. So that's extremely important to check on that, to make sure that there's no crime in the area. And drive the property daytime, nighttime, after midnight. Let's talk about supply and demand. So let's say the community you buy nearby has got too many new development, 50 units, 75 units, 100 units. You gotta be very careful. If you have too much demand, that's not good too, because then you may not be able to rent the apartment. So it's very, very important to see the surrounding, what's nearby. I love the idea that to buy a 70 product, where the rent is $1,000 average, that's a $1,200 average or $1,400, right? And there's a brand new project next door to me, charging $1,000 more. I love it. That project gonna work for me. because guess what? I'm going to draw a lot of people coming to my property because my rent is that much lower. Somebody wants to know about renovation. So, it's very, very important to take care of your tenant and to give a nice product. You want to renovate the unit because you want to be able to command more rent. So, in the process of doing that, do you move the tenant out? No, you try not to move the tenant out. You give them an apartment next door, potentially. But if you're going to give a brand new apartment, new kitchen, new bathroom, new flooring, you're going to have to charge them accordingly. Rent goes up 10%, sometimes 15%. And I found out the tenant love to pay more money for a brand new unit because you give them now like a condo living feel. So they feel like, what? I want to be in there. I want to be part of it. I don't mind paying the rent. I know my rent is going up, but you know what? I love the idea of the newest of the unit. But anyway, let me see if anybody has any messages here. Unfortunately, my voice is giving not so good, so I'm not going to be able to continue too much.